What is happening, everybody? You are listening to the Press Start Radio Show. My name is Zander. Will be joining us in the booth here in just a little bit, but I am also joined today by Andy.
Hey, I took Will's spot.
That's
It's mine
right.
now. Just
He's the new captain. He's lieutenant. We're both captains. We don't work on boats, so we don't really know the ranks, how this whole thing works. Unless you secretly have a boat that I don't know about.
I don't. I wish I did, but I don't. Actually, I wish I had a boat, but didn't have to take care of the boat.
Man, people tell me or at least the saying goes, like, the best 2 days of your life about ownership of a boat is the day you buy it and the day you sell it.
Yep.
So
Find a
I
friend with
agree.
a boat, and you'll be in a better position.
If I could be wealthy enough to own a boat and not have to take care of that boat, that would be brilliant.
Yeah, it would be nice. Have people take care of it for you, maintain it, pay to have it done. Yeah, then it would be okay.
Right, but we're here talking about entertainment, video games, and all that sort of stuff. So I don't think you and I are going to be sitting in that situation. Toy boats. We'll probably be owners of toy boats. Again, you listen to the Press Start Radio Show. We're going to be talking about some gaming news, entertainment, all sorts of things in that realm. So sit back, relax, and enjoy some, mediocre opinions on certain things.
Sometimes those are the best.
And boy, do I have a lot of them. So let's talk a little bit about some of the gaming news this past week. Switch 2 just got announced with a very snazzy, like 3D graphic design video that showed all the different changes between the Switch 1 and the Switch 2. Andy, did you have a chance to check that out?
I have not yet, but I've been a fan of the Switch. I know a few people that have the original Switch, and I don't have one myself. I wish I did, but I've considered getting it for my kid, my oldest kid. She's only 5 though, so I don't think she'd appreciate it too much yet. I'm thinking like in the future, but then at that point they'll probably have a 4th one out, and it'll be it'll be like holographic and like pop up in front of you.
I will say, not to date myself too much, but my first gaming console was a original Nintendo Game Boy, and I got that when I was 5. Okay. But that is like no internet connection. Graphics are terrible. If you wanted to play in the car on the way home from the restaurant, then you needed to like wait for the street lights to pass by the car so you could get like just a fraction of time, a little progression in Pokemon or something.
Yep.
Boy, I do not miss those days of gaming.
Yeah, I didn't really get into gaming till I was probably, I would say 4th or 5th grade, probably. And my first console was a Sega Genesis. And the only reason we got it was because my sister was older and she wanted it too. So I kind of was the tag along, and that's kind of when I got into gaming. A lot of hours playing Sonic.
Listen, I mean, Sonic is Sony's Mario, right?
Yes, exactly.
And it's so good. That kind of begs the question, like, when is a good date to get in, or good age to get into gaming? I know that a lot of kids are getting phones these days, and there's or iPads. You know, they call it like the iPad generation. But as a father myself of an 18-month-old, I'm curious am I going to stick to the same regimen of like 5 is probably a good time, or is it like, am I going to push it more to 7, or ever am I going to try and like just stick and ball sort of entertainment to keep them away from screens? What's your perspective on that?
I think it kind of depends on, number one, what the parent, how into gaming they are. Because if the parent's into the gaming like you are, like I am, I think the kid's going to enjoy it more because the parent is going to enjoy it with them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how they take the game, like for instance, we let my 5-year-old, I have a Series X, and there's tons of like old school Xbox games. She loves Sonic 2. In fact, I just got her a Sonic game, I forget which one it is, for Christmas, and she wants to play it all the time. But that's the problem with introducing it so young. They want to do it all the time, and that's all they want to do. And that can also lead to, I'm not saying that video games affect behavior. It depends on how you're raised. It depends on how you're brought up and how you're taught, but it affects behavior in a way that if they don't get what they want, you know what I mean? Kind
Oh,
of like,
totally.
Dad, I want to play this video game. Well, we just, you just played it for an hour. Like, let's take a break. And then it's tantrum city. You know what I
Right.
mean? The timing's got to be perfect. The attitude of the kids got to be perfect. The parents got to have the patience. There's a lot of factors that go into it. Now, don't get me wrong. She enjoys it nonetheless. So, but I think it all depends on the background of the parents with the gaming. Yeah. So.
Well, folks, I bet you didn't guess you were going to be getting some parenting tips about how to approach video games with your kids, but here we are.
Not that you have to follow it, but
yeah. Well, I mean, we were talking about the Switch 2 to dive back into that before we take a quick break here. Switch 2 looks insanely powerful. Bigger screen, better controllers. Overall, just going to be, I mean, the Switch 1 already was, I've got big hands. I'm 6'3". It was nearing too small a little bit. Screen was great. I mean, Switch is incredible for traveling as far as gaming goes. But I'm glad that everything's getting a little bit bigger, a little bit better. There's some controversy about the connections for the controllers on the screen itself, but it remains to be seen. We only really just saw what that, just a 3D rendering of everything. But, it'll be good stuff. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. But we've got a little bit more about that when we come back. You're listening to Press Start Radio Show. Stick around. My name is Zander. Will is back in the studio joining us.
Glad to be here. Coming in mid-show. This is great. You guys were talking about the Switch.
Yeah. And Andy's here too.
Andy.
Yeah, still here.
Still here.
So just out of curiosity, I got to ask. When did we determine the proper age should be?
I don't think we ever landed on one.
We didn't. I said that I got a Game Boy when I was 5 years old.
Okay.
I think I was probably around, I would say between the ages of like 8 and 9, maybe for me.
Yeah. Yep. So what's that? Second, third?
Average 7 years old is the appropriate age, because we'll just go between 5 and then 8 and 9.
And I was 5 or 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's no right or wrong answer here, folks. Well, the wrong answer is 1.
I'm just going to say, when I was 5 or 6, my console was like the Atari 2600. So it wasn't like, online gaming or any of that kind of stuff. It was like
a little
combat.
different today.
Little tanks.
Mm-hmm.
No, those were the days. And then I do remember when I got the Nintendo Entertainment System for Christmas one.
The dream.
And it had like Rob the Robot. Remember Rob?
Mm-hmm. Of course.
And it had the light gun and it had the whole thing. And I just thought this was the greatest thing. It was amazing.
The pinnacle of video games.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I remember one time, I'm totally off topic here, but I was playing Mike Tyson's Punch Out. And I was like, well, it's never going to get any better than this. Look at these graphics. This is amazing. I remember having that thought going, this is it. This is what we're going to do for the next ever.
Well, that's great. It definitely got better since then.
But my son, who is now 9, has, Fortnite's still a thing for those of you who don't.
Oh, I still play it.
It's there's lots of people that play. And I did have a nice conversation with Epic. I'm going to give them a shout out. Okay. I had the most terrible time with my account and then trying to figure out my tag, because your gamer tag is not the same on your Epic account as it would be on your console and so forth and so on. So then you had to go in and claim that. Then I had to try to set this up for him because he wants to play Fortnite. And it was a cluster, and you can't call them. It's not like they have a phone number you can call. Hey, Epic, what's going on? This is Will. It doesn't work like that.
I think they'd probably have too many people calling.
They've got way, and so it all happened through email. But we got a resolution. They did actually fix it.
Man, that is just a hootenanny of a story.
But I'm telling you, the point of bringing it up is Fortnite's more of a shooter and all this kind of stuff. Is 9 years old too young to be playing Fortnite? He's like, I can tell you, every kid in his class, he's in 3rd grade. Every kid's playing already.
Yeah.
well, so and so's got it. Blah, blah, blah.
That's how they get you,
That's how
man.
they get you.
Everybody else is
Yep.
doing it, right?
Yep. I think
Yeah.
that comes back to what we said, Xander. It depends on the parent
Yeah.
and how into gaming they are, what they want their kid to play. As long as the kid understands, this is just a video game.
Right.
Sure,
Yeah.
I see. Sure, why not?
And these days, I think the games do a good job of putting in the parental controls. So I did limit.
Yes.
He can't interact online with the
Yeah,
chat.
that's
Okay.
the scariest part. That's what
That's-
scares
but
me the most. Yeah.
We got rid of that altogether. He's having a blast, loving it. I'm the greatest dad in the world. No offense to any other dads out there, but that's what he said.
Number one dad right here. Oh, that's what he said. That wasn't
Wow.
actually like a poll.
Yeah,
that
I
was
didn't.
taken
I didn't.
online.
It wasn't a self. I didn't give myself the name. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, he's having a great time. But to your point, Andy, I think that the parent should understand the game enough to be able to control
Yeah.
the settings,
Yeah.
or the boundaries.
That's true.
And then you can create an environment that they can still sort of be in, and then as they age, of course, unlock the rest of the features.
Yeah, we didn't
Exactly.
need parental guidelines for when we started, right?
Right.
Game Boy was like cartridge in the thing.
Yeah,
That's it.
that was it. Yeah.
Done.
And going back to Atari and Combat, there was no.
You had a joystick and a button.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was it.
Easy.
All right, you guys talked about by the way,
This is the Press Start Radio Show. You're listening to Zander
and Will.
and Will and Andy. Hey, yeah, we were talking about the Switch, and you came in and mentioned Mario Kart 9, which I guess they showed a little bit of the showcased part of it in the reveal trailer, but I didn't look into it very much, and it sounded like you did, Will.
Yeah, so it's amazing that that's still one of the most popular games on the Switch, and that was one of the first games on the Switch.
Yeah,
it was so popular they started bundling it with the new releases over the years.
it's hard to believe that Nintendo would bundle anything.
Yeah, they actually gave you a Mario game, which is like they don't drop the price. The thing is still what $50-$60 still.
Yeah.
But
That's
Mario's gonna be like the Now CDs. There's gonna be like 75 or 80 of them, and it's just gonna be like Mario Kart 85.
Yeah, there's no doubt they're not going to let him go away. He's
No.
the guy.
He's the face.
And so I was looking at the sort of character iterations of the new Mario Kart game, and the one that I noticed right off the bat was the Donkey Kong guy. He's like riding in the cart, and he fit in the cart before, but now he's like very large and plump. So it looks like a cartoon almost. The giant. It's like a tiny cart, and there's this giant gorilla, and he's really big.
I got to go back and watch this trailer. That sounds hilarious.
Oh man,
Yeah, I gotta
he
see that
just
too.
looks like he's not supposed to be there. He can
just
can't
squeezed
turn.
in.
Yeah,
There's visual elements to this this conversation. I'm so sorry for the folks at home.
oh, is that wow? That went by fast.
That's
I
right.
felt like I was talking the whole time.
Word. This is the Press Start Radio Show. We'll be back in a sec.
Oh man.
Press Start.
Oh man, dude, it didn't.
I'm sorry. You know what?
Well, so now all my sound effects are not going to go over that well. So they're just going to hear me going.
Well, I don't think anybody even can hear that right now. We'll see. We're still working.
There we are.
As
We'll see.
we're always trying to innovate here at the Press Start Radio Show, we're moving towards new platforms, new audiences, and soundboards are, not doing the thing they need to be doing.
The future is now.
And
We'll figure it out.
Join us.
janky.
It's a word.
Anyways, you're listening to the Press Start Radio Show. My name is Xander. This is Andy. And Will.
Oh, hi. That's
Oh,
right.
there you go.
Not
That's
everybody
what
can
we're
see.
Audio.
That's right.
Audio.
Audio. Just gonna
This is
wave.
Will. Hey,
And this is Will, too.
I'm also Will. All right. So we last left. Well, a quick shout out we should give to some of our sponsors: Mover Dudes, Bob Rocks, Andy, and Coach's Corner, of course. Yeah, awesome stuff. Yeah. Then he's putting it on display. The van.
Audio. There you go. Sound effect for it.
We'll edit it in post.
Edge,
There you go.
Shenandoah University. Should shout out the Top of Virginia Chamber of Commerce, Respawn, Nanoleaf,
Sure.
yeah, Logitech,
Yeah.
and Astro Gaming headsets.
Love it. And so,
oh yeah, so we were talking about the right time to get kids into gaming, and there's lots of benefits there. Obviously, there's the hand-eye coordination stuff. There's learning to play together as a team if you're doing so. There's so many
critical
cool,
thinking, problem solving, puzzle solving.
I mean, the list does go on.
Sure.
And yes, if you really wanted to pick apart gaming and try to come up with the negatives, you probably could, just like with anything else. If you overindulge, right, eventually there's going to be some unwanted side effects.
Right.
But there's one particular game that has caused more controversy than any other title, I think, in the history of gaming.
I mean, there's some close seconds, but
I don't know.
I mean,
and of course,
Call of Duty.
Well, and of
different
course, we're talking about Grand Theft Auto, but
it.
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When that
that's a
first
good
hit the
one.
arcades, people were like, mom and dad's watching this kid rip this player's head off and hold their spine and be like,
insanely graphic.
Yes.
I was gonna say, like, with Call of Duty and Mortal Kombat, though, with Call of Duty, it's like you're in the military. Like, a kid usually playing a game at whatever age, 4th, 5th grade, is gonna know what the military is. They know, as long as they can comprehend that, I feel like they're fine. Mortal Kombat, kind of the same thing. It's Mortal Kombat. But then as I thought about the question, I was like, oh, if you call it GTA, not everybody's gonna know what GTA is. But if you use the real Grand Theft Auto, then it kind of paints the picture.
Yeah, the title of it is a crime.
Yeah, it is.
And of course, the argument is that a kid listens to music, a kid watches a movie, and they act on what they hear or see. Well, the argument has been, well, with gaming, you're more involved and more immersed because you're controlling the character. Then you're more likely to go and act on these things that you're doing in the game. That's the argument. I mean, generally, top surface level, right?
Yeah.
But now with technology being what it is, I mean, Grand Theft Auto 5, one of the best-selling games of all time, one of the best online. What am I looking for? The games that has had a nice run ever since it came out.
Service.
Yeah, it's still doing very well. People are still on it and playing. And now we've got. And what's interesting enough, also from Rockstar, Red Dead Redemption 2, all these little memes and TikTok videos are now, it's resurfacing and like it's becoming popular again already.
Well, TikTok, not for long.
Well,
Sunday.
Conversation for another day. But Grand Theft Auto 6 now looks even more realistic, even more immersive. I mean, the cities are bigger, the people are doing more stuff, and I'm sure you can do all the traditional things you can do in Grand Theft Auto games.
The unsavory things.
Yeah, so I mean,
it's a good word. Good word to describe it.
So I don't know. Where do you draw the line? I guess it's just an adult game, period, right? I guess is that how you handle that one?
I wouldn't. If I had a kid, and I mean mine's only 5, so obviously I'm not going to introduce her to that game. Now if she walks in on me playing the game, or sees it being on, I'll be like, "This is just a game." Then I'll most likely 90% of the time stop. The other 10%, maybe if I'm like she's busy, I'll just keep on going on. But I mean, yeah, I don't know the age to introduce that one at. I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, in any circumstance, whether it's music, movies, or games, we mentioned it earlier. You have to parent still.
Yes,
that doesn't change.
Make sure they understand. Yep.
You have to kind of evaluate the circumstances and
30 is a good age for that one.
Don't you have to be 18 to buy it anyways, right?
Yeah, I mean, if it's rated M for mature.
I mean, the parent
actually
could buy it.
That's not necessarily a government requirement. That's
I didn't
when
know
GameStop only stops you.
It's a guideline.
It's a guideline or a policy that GameStop has. It's not a mandated by law.
It's not GameStop. So it's the ESRB rating system.
No, I know, but a store like GameStop would limit whether or not they would sell it to you. It is not a law requirement that you can't sell a rated M game to a minor.
Yeah. So I don't know.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, if it used to be that parents or child, as we talked about earlier, would convince parent, hey, I need to play this game. That's what I want for Christmas, whatever.
Yeah.
And the parent doesn't take the time to do the background check. All I know, it's like Grand Theft Auto. Oh, you still okay? But you can do, as you said, there's more. What was the word you used?
Unsavory
Things that you can do in the game, and you just might not want your kid doing that just yet.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's going to be cool if you're an adult.
We
I
need
guess.
more
That's
time
right.
for this.
Yeah.
Press start. See you next week.